tricks, wizard. Yet you never once used your greatest weapon. A fake.
What's up, folks? Mike for CMCC Builds here with the first installment of the Gauntlet. And boy, am I excited for this one. If you want the extended background of the series, please check out the Gauntlet intro video here. What we're going to do today is showcase the Nuclear Wizard build featured on this channel a couple weeks ago. To see that breakdown, go ahead and click right up here. Today, we feature the first part of the level 14 Gauntlet. The Wizard, we'll call him Nuke, is a Hexvoker Hexblade Evoker, and will bring along with him two sidekicks, who, along with the main character, will all be at level 14. But huge caveat there, the sidekick power level is much lower than that of the Wizard. They don't even have feats, for example. No sharpshooter, no great weapon master. Can the Nuclear Wizard hold up? We shall see. Quick bit of housekeeping. If you like this video, and I really hope you do, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Patreon link below if you want some cool perks. Also, if there is interest in playing one of these gauntlets with your own character, let me know down in the comments. There may be something in the works in that regard. Special thanks to 2 Minute Tabletop for the map that is featured here today, to RT who designed the encounters, Ludic for his help on encounter and character design, Oddfather who DM'd the entirety of today's adventure, and of course Gillalar, or I just call him Gil, who piloted the Nuclear Wizard and did a fantastic job on incredibly short notice as schedules got shuffled at the last minute. So let's set the scene here, shall we? A Mind Flayer Arcanist has subverted a temple dedicated to a sea deity and is using it as a magical power source. The desecration has aroused the angry undead in the temple catacombs. Deciding it's not worth his time, the Flayer just flooded the lower caverns and denied anyone access to the bottom levels. They're using the central altar of the inner sanctum in an arcane ritual that will grant them mind control over the whole duchy. The Hexvoker Nuclear Wizard, his Orc Warrior companion, and Kenku Expert ally need to stop the Mind Flayer before the ritual concludes in 4 hours. That means long rests are out of the question and short rests must be used judiciously. A key to unlock the inner sanctum, which is warded against teleportation, can be found in the waterlogged catacombs beneath the temple. Much of the upper levels of the temple complex are occupied by non-violent worshippers who believe that their new archbishop is still a legitimate leader of the faithful. When the party reaches the dimly lit catacombs entrance, they have a vague idea of the direction to the stairwell that leads to the next level. As they wade across a foot or so of water, they're unaware that in just 2 short rounds, this entire cavern will be chest deep in water, affecting everything from ranged attacks and movement to fire damage from spells. A quick look at the character's tokens. We have Nuke's token right here. Along for the ride, of course, is the Wizard's familiar, Owly. Apparently the Nuclear Wizard is also a fan of Peacemaker. And the Hexvoker Simulacrum. Yes, the Wizard functionally gets 3 actions at level 13. It's incredibly powerful, as we'll see. The Orc Warrior here and the Kenku Expert here both have, along with Nuke, a single magical item, a +1 Great Axe, a +1 Shortbow, and a +1 Arcane Grimoire, respectively. In addition, each character has 2 potions of healing. Not potions of greater or superior healing, just potions of healing, 2d4 + 2. Trudging a few more feet forward, the party hears off in the distance the moaning of undead, mummies. Nearby, still invisible, are a pair of water weirds sloshing in the rising flood. Roll initiative. The Hexvoker with a decent dexterity score and the fantastic hair trigger ability leads the way with a 25, followed by the Expert and Warrior. The Simulacrum acts on the Wizard's turn, and for simplicity's sake, the Familiar will share the same initiative score. This means the entire party gets to act before Team Monster, at least for now. Who knows what else lurks in these depths. Going first means the Hexvoker gets to do what evokers love to do, fireball. The enemies are in water, so that fire damage is cut in half, but mummies are vulnerable to fire damage, which makes it a wash. Oof, bad rolls. Even with a +5, the fireball only deals 26 damage, well below average, but 3 out of the 4 enemies fail their save, and the mummies take the full damage. Passing it over to the Simulacrum, who uses a bonus action to cast Dragon's Breath on the Owl Familiar, who flies 60 feet toward the enemies and engulfs them in a cone of cold breath, using its action. Both weirds fail their saves and take 14 cold damage. The Simulacrum then uses its remaining action to cast a cantrip, Chill Touch, on the nearest weird. 26 hits, but deals a below average 9 necrotic damage. Nuke and the Simulacrum hang tight and pass the turn. That was a lot. No one else has gone yet. Now it's the Expert's opportunity. Not yet suffering a movement penalty for the rising water, the Expert will use an action to dash and move 45 feet ahead. There, the Kenku uses the helpful bonus action feature against the nearby water weird. It's the Warrior's go, who, as an Orc, uses the bonus action aggressive feature to dash 55 feet towards the enemy. Javelin in hand, he lets loose the attack with advantage due to the Kenku's help. Despite the extra 1d6 from the Kenku's inspiring help, a 1 auto misses. Luckily, with advantage, the Orc gets a second chance and rolls a 2. Not good. But the +12 modifier brings that to a 14, which does indeed hit these low AC enemies for 9 piercing damage. Pulling out a second javelin, he attacks and rolls a natural 20. A crit, nice. But doubling a d6 doesn't do much, another 13 damage. Now for Team Monster. The mummy trudges 10 feet ahead and uses its action to dreadfully glare at the orc warrior. A powerful effect that can frighten as well as paralyze if you fail the save by 5 or more. It's important to make these saves, and the warrior rolls a 5. Uh-oh. Anything below a 7 is paralysis. Better use the Indomitable feature, but with a +0 mod, the warrior rolls another 5. Holy hell. Paralyzed for a turn. In the words of DM Oddfather, wow, Indomitable sucks. The next mummy moves its sights to the expert, who rolls a 9. Jesus. At least he's not paralyzed, but he's frightened, which is bad news. The Water Weird will move in and attack from a 10-foot range, with advantage on the paralyzed orc. Rolls a nat 1 and a 3. An 8's not going to do it, even when paralyzed. That range is important because hits against paralyzed enemies are only criticals if you're within 5 feet, melee attack or not. Water Weird 2 follows suit, swims toward the motionless orc and attacks with advantage. Another nat 1 and a 12 totaling a 17. Still a miss. Despite paralysis, the orc has managed to avoid being hit by 4 d20 rolls. Back to the top of the initiative order for round 2, and our boy Nuke is going to blast away with a level 2 magic missile. No attack roll, no saving throw. 1d4 plus 1 plus 5. 3 missiles, 24 force damage at one weird, and the last missile, 8 force damage to the other. Something big approaches from the western portion of the map, so Nuke splashes across the channel as it rapidly fills with water. The Simulacrum follows suit, then blasts off a firebolt at a mummy. A 25 hits and does the full 20 fire damage. The familiar exhales another dragon's breath, doing 14 cold damage as both water weirds fail their save, killing both before they can get a second turn. Initiative matters, folks. Owlie flies to the other side of the orc and passes its turn too. A group of hunter sharks enter the fray with an 18 initiative. They are forced to use the dash action to make it to the wizards. The expert takes a step back and bonus action helps, then lets loose with the short bow at disadvantage against the closest mummy. First roll is a natural 20, bummer. Second roll is a 29, hits for 18 piercing damage with the extra 2d6 from coordinated strike. Mummy down. Orcs go, paralyzed. Hell. Mummy's turn, does its thing, steps back from the danger, then shoots a dreadful glare at the orc. The orc rolls an 11. Holy shit, it made a save, folks! This also protects the orc from this particular mummy's glare for the next 24 hours. With only one mummy left, it's back to the top for round 3, and with a shiver of sharks, yes, a shiver, right up in our wizard's face, it's probably wise to do something about that. Nuke pulls an Elsa, pass out a Rhymes Binding Ice, engulfing 8 of the 9 sharks in the cone. All but one of the sharks fail their save and take 14 cold damage. Below average, the dice gods are not with us today. The familiar then darts in, blasting the front 4 sharks with more cold from Dragon's Breath. All 4 fail their saves and take a measly 7 damage. Once again, below average. The dice gods are angry. Using Flyby, the familiar is able to get out of dodge without an opportunity attack. The Simulacrum casts Chill Touch. On the rear unhurt shark, hitting with a 19 and dealing 13 necrotic. Hey, that's basically average. Alright, improvement. Sim will then use its bonus action to telekinetically pull Nuke away from the nearest shark so the wizard can rush back without invoking those nasty opportunity attacks. The sharks, encased in ice from Rhyme's spell, use their action to break free another shark. 3 sharks have actions left. The first shark sees the weakest target, Owlie, and pounces. Uh-oh, 25 hits, 11 piercing damage. Owlie is no more. As we take a moment to mourn the loss of our fine feathered friend, let's recognize just how much work that familiar did. It dished out 56 damage to the water weirds, killing both, and 28 total damage amongst the 4 sharks before being engulfed. The 2 remaining sharks with actions surround the expert and attempt to take a chomp out of his flesh. The 16 barely misses, but the 17 just hits, doing 12 piercing damage. At this point, despite not having actions, the remaining sharks, fearing another binding ice blast, disperse. The expert, having just been attacked, bonus action helps, then whips out a non-magical short sword and attacks. Rolls a 5, more terrible rolls for a 15, which thankfully hits, and with the bump from coordinated strike, inflicts 13 piercing damage to the shark. Not wanting to incite an opportunity attack, the Kenku stays put. Our orc warrior finally gets to use his great axe, sliding it off his back and attacks. Natural 20! The string of below average rolls continues, but no matter. The shark is dispatched as its bloody corpse sinks to the floor below the surface. And what's this? He has another attack. He hauls off, hitting the second shark with a roll of 24, which does a solid 13 damage. Mummy's turn. Dreadful glare on the expert. The Kenku rolls A 4. Paralyzed and frightened. That's trouble. Round 4. With the tides turning a bit in this battle, Nuke decides it's time to bring out some bigger guns. Then unleashes Sickening Radiance on the sharks. Using the Evoker's Sculpt Spells feature, Nuke excludes all 4 party members from the spell's effect. A quick move from the wizard, and Sim blasts off his own fireball, also excluding the party members from the blast. Another subpar damage roll does 25 fire damage, cut in half because of the water. One of the sharks does manage to save, so that damage is cut in half again, but one of the sharks is burned to a crisp, chipping away. It's the sharks' turn, as they're all inside the Sickening Radiance area of effect. They all make saves, and all but one fail. The damage here kills 3 more sharks before they get a turn to go. A quick note that the Simulacrum pushed inside the Radiant Sphere prior to the shark's turn with its 15 feet of movement. The first surviving shark swims ahead and attacks the Kenku, but a 10 misses. Wanting a taste of bird-person flesh, a shark bites the bullet and pushes into the Sickening Radiance. 17 isn't enough to make the save, and the shark eats 25 radiant damage. To rub salt in the wounds, the shark misses with an attack roll of 16, so close. The remaining 2 sharks zero in on the Simulacrum, and both miss. Yikes. Off in the distance, on the eastern part of the map, 5 lobster-like aberrations scurry toward the commotion. They roll a 7 for initiative. The paralyzed expert can't do anything for this turn, but the warrior will gladly take a couple swings at the nearby sharks. First attack is a 31. Yep, I think that hits. 16 slashing damage. Second attack is a 20 for 10 slashing damage. The Chuuls get their turn and have to dash to approach their targets. Seeing the greenish glow of the Sickening Radiance, the Chuuls spread out, looking for an opportunity to enter. The mummy will of course try to paralyze the Birdman. A 12, a save by 1, save by 20, doesn't matter. And now the Kenku gets 24-hour protection if the mummy can live that long. Nuke adjusts so he can telekinetically shove his Simulacrum as a bonus action to give some space from the sharks, and then with the main action, Nuke goes full Elsa. And turns everything to ice with a 6th level Freezing Sphere. Excluding the entire party again, the spell does 44 cold damage and instantly freezes the top 6 inches of water, trapping creatures inside without a saving throw, except to free themselves. 1 shark saves and the remaining enemies fail. The mummy and 3 sharks die while the vertical walking Chuul are all trapped in ice. The Simulacrum moves back from the Chuul and drops a Create Bonfire in the Chuul's face. The Chuul makes the saving throw, reducing the damage from 8 to 4, and fire does half damage in water, so that's down to 2 damage. This was one of those adventures you'd want to trade out your fire spells for things like Toll of the Dead. Hindsight is 2020. The final shark begins its turn and fails its save to Sickening Radiance. 19 damage, dead. The Orc Warrior uses its action to break free from the ice and move through the difficult terrain towards the Chuul, who uses their actions to attempt to break free from the ice themselves. Only one succeeds and moves to the edge of the Radiance. Off in the distance, something appears. The Hydra enters the initiative order at 12. Biding their time and saving their resources, the 2 wizards chill touch the nearest Chuul. The Herongon's 1 auto misses, but the Simulacrum rolls a 26 for 16 necrotic damage. The expert shoots through the water at disadvantage because a short bow is not a crossbow. A 15 misses. The Hydra wants a piece of the action and dashes 60 feet towards the ruckus. The warrior, javelin in hand from last turn, makes 2 javelin attacks on the nearby Chuul, landing both strikes for a combined 14 piercing damage. The trapped Chuuls struggle to free themselves, all fail their saves, but the one mobile Chuul finds the courage to enter the Radiance and makes it save. It's not safe for half, no damage, and it's able to make 2 attacks at the Herongon, but misses both. The frozen Chuul can't move, so the bonfire continues to burn it after it fails its save for 11 fire damage, cut in half from the water. Round 6, both Nuke and Simulacrum focus their chill touches on the approaching Chuul, and both hit for a combined 18 damage. These damage rolls suck. Next up is the expert, who uses a bonus action to help and attempts another bow shot, misses. The Hydra continues its advance. Using a bonus action to rush the attacking Chuul, the Orc is able to make 2 attacks with its Great Axe. The first hits for 8 damage, it's still standing, barely. The second hits again for 10 slashing, dispatching the aberration. The Chuul's turn, and they attempt to break the ice. Only one can free itself and pushes towards the Radiant Sphere. The bonfire continues to burn the motionless Chuul. It fails its save and takes 20, cut in half, down to 10. To start round 7 with the Hydra on their doorstep, Nuke does it. Finally, the combo!
My only curse is you.
Bonus action, Hexblade's Curse, and a level 2 magic missile does 1d4 plus 1 plus 5 plus 5 for a total of 56 damage on the Hydra. Sim follows up with a level 2 magic missile of its own for an additional 40 damage, 2 level 2 slots, and 96 damage. That's pretty good. Sim attempts to pull the approaching Shul into the Sickening Radiance with a bonus action, but the Shul is able to resist the force. The expert takes a shot at the Hydra and misses again. Shocking. The Hydra, eager to take a crack at the intruders, enters the Radiance and fails its save, taking 24 damage for its efforts. With one of its heads, it tries to chomp the Simulacrum and hits with a 20, but Sim tosses up a shield to force a miss. Seeing the magical protection, the Hydra shifts its focus to the expert, landing 2 of 3 bites for 15 piercing damage. The warrior darts to the Hydra, rears back and swings, hitting and dealing 15 slashing damage. The second attack quickly follows, and a roll of 30 hits easily for 14 more slashing damage. The freed Shul enters the circle, fails its save, and subsequently takes 21 damage, but it gets off 2 attacks at the Simulacrum, one of which lands with a 25. Not even the shield can help Sim. The pincer attack deals 12 bludgeoning damage, but more importantly, it grapples the Simulacrum and forces a save. A roll of 12 just barely fails. Sim is poisoned and paralyzed. Bye-bye, Bonfire. I'll get rid of the circles soon enough, don't worry about that. The remaining Shuls try to break free of the ice, and all fail. Round 8, seeing a Simulacrum in trouble, Nuke turns on the gas and fires off a level 4 magic missile, directing 4 darts at the Hydra and 2 at the attacking Chul. 60 force damage to the Hydra kills it instantly. The Chul takes 14 damage and manages to stay on its feet. Nuke bonus action telekinetic shoves the Chul back 5 feet, causing it to drop the Simulacrum, who then gets to make a save at the end of the turn. And makes it, ending the effect. The expert uses a bonus action help and takes a short bow shot at disadvantage, but this time is able to hit and deals 20 piercing. And as the Chuls continue to fail saves to free themselves, the party wastes no additional resources to slowly chip away at their life totals until the 3 remaining Chuls are struck down. And with that, part 1 of the level 14 Gauntlet concludes. The 3 levels and an unknown number of enemies and challenges remain. And if you like this video, please like the damn video. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. And I hope to see you here next time.